am the life coach. Hi guys, this is GM the life coach. Today's session is a little bit of a different one. I'm not going to be leading it. It's going to be from Kadeem. So
Yeah.
introduce yourself, Kadeem.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be out here chopping it up today. As you know, I'm looking to get down and dirty. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So, yeah, let's get down to it. This is gonna be my first time trying to throw some questions at G today. So let's see what we can get. There's just a couple of things I want to get into. As I've seen the media, doesn't matter whether or not I turn on the news, whether that be social media, digital media, or newspaper, anything. I'm
Before
seeing
we
a lot.
start, before we
Yeah,
start,
tell
before
me,
we
tell me,
start,
tell me, tell me,
guys, make sure you share, like, and subscribe and comment.
please.
Yeah, I was thinking you was going to remember that, but so, you know,
No, they'll
yeah,
get into it. They'll
yeah,
get into it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
share, comment, like, and subscribe. Just enjoy. It's only be a short one, but we're gonna go for it. All right, go on, go on, go
Yeah,
on.
we're gonna go into it. Yeah, yeah. So I'm interested. Anything I see, everything we do, everything anywhere I go these days, I'm seeing someone getting upset. Yeah,
Mm, mm,
someone's being upset because of something that we would recognize as controversy. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think to myself, whether you go to different parts of the world, or maybe as I get older, my tolerance for controversy changes. So I thought, why not throw it out today and let's get into it with you. See, what's your definition of controversy? How do you feel? What is controversial to you? And let's see if we
Oh,
mutually agree on
oh,
that one. Oh, uh-huh.
oh.
Oh no.
The thing is, I'm too much of a yin and yangist. So like, controversy to me
Mhm,
is controversial. What is controversial to me? Uh, when someone controversial to me is when someone makes a blanket statement
mhm.
and it's for everybody, even though everybody's different. That's controversial to me. Um, um,
Is controversy always offensive?
is the controversial what?
Is controversy always offensive?
No, no. Sometimes it can be just talking points. It can
Mhm,
lead conversations, lead to open dialogue, exploring more deep things. So sometimes controversy allows, like, if someone gets, say, for instance, someone gets caught up in something that they really shouldn't get caught up in, it allows for conversations of why they even happened in the first place. Like,
mhm,
who led us, and what can we change so that doesn't happen again? So
mhm.
controversy can be good and it can be bad. I feel I feel like my aim of controversy, I don't even know what it even is, because what government and or not even government, what media would say is controversial isn't my type of controversial. Like, my controversial is more like, you know, I think the education system is controversial. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think how they treat young people sometimes is controversial. You know what I mean? I think how they treat people with mental health is controversial. Those are the things that I feel is controversial, not the stuff that the media thinks is controversial or
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because all they deal with is propaganda. So you can't have controversy and propaganda living in the same
In the
roof.
same, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's not gonna
Doesn't
work.
make no sense. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I stand with it. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I agree 100% on that one. Really, I think in the masses, what is kind of publicized and marketed as controversial to me is not controversial. It's not
Mm,
something that I would even consider or would factor in to the realms of controversy. And I don't think that's despite the fact that I work in a pretty live, client-facing, high-risk environment.
mm,
It's also just, I think, just for experiences as well. Controversy, when you subject yourself to understanding histories, exploring rhetorics, politics, process, then what you're maybe less offended. You find things that's controversial because you're seeing more of a process of pattern and repetition. So to me, perhaps something that is controversial is something that is maybe a one-off or less repeated incident.
mm,
And again, and especially if that incident is going to impact a mass populace of people, that's where something. And if they don't have a choice in that, then that's where I think controversy stems. If
mm,
we're seeing something that is seeing something we've never seen before, that impacts a massive amount of people, and those people haven't had any opportunity to talk about it or in it or shape it, then that's controversial
Yeah, yeah.
to me. And that's why I say it, because and I agree, because like I say, a lot of the things that in the media they are uh, uh, labeling and preaching as the in thing and the now point is not what I would
It's
class
not controversy. Yeah,
as
exactly.
controversy.
Yeah, yeah. Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And I don't know if that's just because they want to lead the conversation to certain things or lead our psyche, our consciousness into certain things.
Yeah, it's about association. It's about
Mm,
association.
mm,
Like if we have an association with controversy to something else, then again, like if something is supposedly told to us to be controversial, then we're going to associate it with that. So then
mm.
my next question to you comes to, when I say the word controversy, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Um,
Yeah,
the
you
first
done
thing,
already filtered a lot. You done already
yeah,
filtered. You
yeah.
filtered so much. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be just the foolishness. When you said the word controversial, I don't
Okay.
think of it. I think of it as all right. It's going to be some media controversy. Do you know what I mean? It's not a word I really use in my vocabulary all the time. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's controversial. So it's because it's somebody else's version of what that
Version of
controversial
it,
thing is.
of
Oh, that's
course.
going to offend you. That's really what it means.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
It's going
exactly.
to offend you. It could offend you, or it could offend somebody. That's really what
hmm
controversial is. And in this day and age, everybody's offended by everything. So what can you
But
even do?
everything, yeah.
You know what I
And that's
mean?
why I asked that earlier point about whether or not controversy is always offensive. Because
Mm,
again, is the subject or the definition of controversy offensive, or are the kind of economic, socio-economic environment that we're in today, meaning that people take things with less of a pinch of salt? Like
mm.
now, before you would walk
Almost quite
happily in the
literal.
rain, and now we're upset about the fact that we get water in our eyes.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see, it's so like what yeah, you may like that's what I'm saying. Are we arguing that because again, what's controversial over here to the Western world is may not be controversial in other places.
yeah. It's like life for somebody else, like everyday
We
life.
our conversations about how much fluoride there is in our tap water and how it's filtered and what's the best bottled water should we be having. That's what made me the hot topic over on this side of the world.
Mm,
But in other parts of the world, they're like, wow, look at you guys with these choices of bottled water.
mhm.
And as and when you have a choice of bottled water, when you
Mm,
have a tap, because in your opinion, the tap isn't filtered enough. Do you see?
mm.
Like to them, that's controversial. To other people in other places of the world, it's controversial.
Yeah, yeah,
Like housing and the state of housing in this country, I would
yeah.
argue,
That's
is quite
controversial.
controversial.
Yeah,
That's definitely controversial. How can you tell me is that the same level of controversy as for instance, something like the outfits worn at the Met Gala?
that's controversial. That's
Yes.
controversial, mate. That's
You
definitely
see what I'm saying?
controversial. Yeah, I'm
hmm
definitely going for that. That's definitely controversial. The
hmm
bloody what they wear in the Met Gala. Jeez, peas, man.
But which one is of more importance? Which one should
Mm,
you be discussing more? Which one should have the forefront?
mm,
So
mm.
that's what controversy is interesting. And I think
Yeah,
we should all sit down. That's a great warm up exercise to get to know someone or to
yeah.
just check where you're at. Just ask them that
Where's your
question.
controversy
What's it?
level? What's
Yeah,
your
what's it?
controversy level?
Yeah,
What,
where's it at?
what's it at? What do you get offended by? That like in dating somebody will put you off.
hmm hmm
Do you know what I
hmm
mean? That'll ever make you
So
go, do you know what? You're my person. No, actually.
yeah, I don't know. That's a way to start off on a
Mm,
bad
mm,
starting foot.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so
That's
I
good.
guess that's a
That's
nice
good that
place
we're
to
on the
lean
same
in.
wavelength. It's good that we're on the same
Yeah,
wavelength. Mm,
we'll see. We'll see. We're not done. Because that leads into my next point quite well. Controversy. I've got, like I said, we've got 3 points here that I want to talk to you about today. My second point is going to be about boundaries. So, mhm, setting personal boundaries. Boundaries is a definition, and where do they lie? When we're talking about what we would do to achieve certain things, what is a boundary? And again, is it because people lack boundaries why things are seen as controversial, or why we have seen things to be so controversial of late? What's your opinion? How do you set your boundaries, and what are some of the boundaries that are kind of pertinent to your day to day?
Um, boundaries. I think over time, I think I had a conversation about this today actually. It's quite poignant that we're talking about it now. I was talking with a friend of mine, and she's been saying that over the years she's been having to really think about uh who needs the boundaries
Mhm.
and why these boundaries need to be there and what her level of what boundary level she needs to fit by, is it just one boundary level for everybody, or is it just individual people have different boundary levels? um and I think at different stages of my life I've had to learn that you can't be the same with everybody,
Mhm.
and that you have to have a level of, for yourself, you have to have a level of, this is what I will allow, and this is what
Mhm.
I won't allow. And it takes a time to understand. Once you understand yourself, you understand more so what you will allow and what you won't allow. What things that you will say, nah, definitely that's not me. I'm pushing
Mhm.
that away. I'm not even having that in. And things where sometimes it might be a thing where there's some things where you've locked off before and you've let in. So it's a ever changing thing for me, but I've always had to change my boundaries when, say, like I've let somebody too close.
Mhm.
Like Icarus has got burnt by the sun.
By my
Oh,
son.
you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, and I've kind of been like, let me reframe this again. Or I've even broken boundaries before where I wasn't mindful of, how, you know, how I was with that person. And then I was like, actually,
Mhm.
when they've told me, actually, no, you went a bit too far, or sometimes even not, and you just sat down and you figured it out. Like, actually, yeah, I was a bit much in that situation. Once would do. Yeah, then you reframe how you interact with people and look out for the signs of when you're going past that person's limit.
Mhm.
It's not always easy because people aren't easy to read. You can't read their minds, but it's a trial and error thing. I feel like they are definitely needed within work. Not to say yes all the time. If you go to somewhere new and you're used to saying yes all the time, and then
Yes,
one day you
also.
wake up and go, actually, do you know what? I need to say no. And you start saying no and realizing that all the benefits that you had of saying yes aren't coming to you anymore. Do you
Mhm.
then leave the job, or do you stay there and just know that that's just
That's what you need
your
to
new
do.
you? Yeah, your new you,
Mhm.
and that's what you need to do in the first place. Or is it a thing where you still want to get those benefits even though you're saying no? Like,
Mhm.
boundaries are very important to keeping you safe as well. Like, I've um I've life coached people who have not had good boundaries within their work, their relationship,
Personal
or
life.
personal
Mhm.
life. And I'm probably better at giving that advice than actually doing it myself.
Mhm.
but but I know from my mistakes where as why I can help other people. Like, wherever I've made mistakes, okay, so you need to do this and this is what you need to do, these are the boundaries and whatever.
Mhm.
um and it's been a thing where they've either taken on too much and it's encroached on the stuff they would want to do for themselves. They've either taken on too much, and it's a thing where they're workaholics and they don't know how to switch off the workaholic thing, and then
The drive,
the
yeah, yeah,
drive
yeah.
the
Just
drive they can say, oh
constantly,
my god,
yeah,
I did
yeah,
that.
yeah. I need too much, yeah.
And then but then it becomes a character thing. So then if they're not working, what do they actually do with themselves?
Yeah, they don't
you know
necessarily know themselves. They're not in
and
tune. They
does
don't
that
have,
mean
yeah.
does that mean I'm less of a
Mhm.
person because I'm not doing these things that I was doing before? And I suffer with that as well. I was a person, I was busy all the time. If
All
you
the
called
time.
me, you would never be able to catch me. I was always doing something, to the point where even
Mhm.
people don't
You're
call
like,
me
this
no
is
more because they
ridiculous.
assume I'm always
Yeah,
doing
they
something.
know.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
they know
yeah.
he's always busy,
Mhm.
busy. Whereas now I've made a conscious effort with the boundaries to make sure I'm not taking on more than what my brain or my heart can handle.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it makes you feel like you're being idle. Some people even look at you and say, like, a friend of mine, he calls me lazy all the time. Like, bro, I'm not lazy. I've worked hard
Hard
for a
to
long,
get where you
sustained
are.
period of
Mhm.
time. I haven't stopped, and now I'm stopping. Now I'm just taking a little pit stop.
Mhm.
But it's because I need that boundary. Otherwise, how can I
You're gonna
function?
break. Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah,
break.
yeah.
And I had a break last year, like went all just like, ooh,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And that's what, and people still want things from me, still want to talk to you, still want to whatever, still
Yeah,
want to,
of course.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they don't recognize. They don't recognize. They're not checking in a lot of the time.
You
People are
know?
just
assuming you're right.
feeding from you, consuming.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
That's exactly. So
So boundaries are important to me in many different ways, and um I think that when like I never wanted to ever want to be that person who's encroaching on people's barriers or make people think he's a bit of a weirdo. Like, and to know that I've done that to people makes me feel like, oh gosh, like, do you know what I mean? And I just hope that they have just like let it go and not hold on to it. Do you know what I mean?
mhm.
And it's all right.
But
Um,
hold on, at the same time, is that on them if they have who's it on? If is it on them or is it on you if they haven't been clear with what that boundary was? Is there a certain level of responsibility in a relationship, whether it be professional, social, personal, that you need to or should be making clear your boundaries? How should that process be explained or introduced?
I think that it's a good question because it depends on where your moral compass stands. Because some people will say that actually is on the person to tell you,
Mhm.
and some other people will say it's not saying about the yin and yang, and I can always see
Yeah,
both
yeah,
sides. It's a
yeah.
bit annoying, but the other side is they would say you should be looking out for the signs because not everybody's able to communicate on what they're actually thinking or what they're feeling. So it's a bit of a 50-50, maybe
Mm-hmm.
60-40, maybe a thing where maybe the person
But is
that's
that on them
doing,
then? But is that on them? If
I'll say
they can't
60-40,
communicate their
60-40
boundary,
towards
is
them,
that
I'd
their
say.
business?
I'd say
Is that their
60-40 to them,
business?
I'd say. Yeah,
All right.
they
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be able to say, but then we know communication isn't easy. And that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that the next, the podcast that's coming up this week is all about. Is mostly about communication, different communication styles and different ways of communicating with people in different mediums, music,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
talking,
Okay.
laughter, or whatever. Um, and um, I think it's a 60-40 thing, more so with the person who maybe needs to establish that boundary. But then again, it's been also being brave enough to come to that person because it depends who it is. Because I was talking to my friend today about it, and there's lots of I have a couple of friends who their parents are the ones that are breaking their boundary. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
parents are the ones that are crouching themselves on them and making them want to do certain things and da 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 da. Do you know what I mean? And how do you go to your parent and say, do you know what? Actually, you need to why da 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 da. Some people haven't got the strength
The
to
strength
do
in
that.
them.
You know what I mean?
Or they think that's the disrespect. From some cultures, that's
You
some cultures
can't.
that could be an honor killing.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
Why?
get beat in,
Why?
get
You
beat up,
can't
beat up.
meet
You know what
up,
I
meet
mean? You know
up,
what I
get
mean?
dead.
You know what I mean?
So.
So it depends on who you are, what situation is. Everything is different, as we always say.
Mhm,
There's no blanket thing in that. I think, which I said is controversial. Um, and I feel like it does take bravery to be able to say what you want to say in terms of whether it's a relationship and you're getting to maybe your relationship and you're getting to know somebody and that person always, whenever you're trying to talk about something, they always cut you off. Or like I used to I used to I used to be I don't know if it was a relationship or was but I hate people who you see when you're talking and they want to say something and they talk over you.
over you, yeah.
They talk loud so you can't even and you're just like
Hmm, hmm.
like those people drive me insane.
Yeah,
Like I don't
there's a
I
lot of
can
them.
we can have a conversation. We can interject and put it into
Hmm.
conversations. But when it's to the point where you're talking and they just come in like, over
Going,
top of you.
it's
I
too
just
much. It's too much. Yeah,
I
just please,
can't.
just calm it down.
I
Calm it
just
down. Just yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't do that. That's drive me bonkers. And I don't know, and that's a thing where if that happens, then how do you then go to that person and say, do you know what, when you maybe when you're just
Exactly.
and you're getting to know them, maybe you're in a relationship, you're getting to know them or whatever, and
Exactly. Hmm, hmm.
you know what I mean?
Exactly. That bad traits. If you recognize someone's bad trait, there's two challenges there. That how do you address it with somebody that you're trying to maintain a relationship with, and how do you address it with somebody that you're trying to start a relationship with?
Mm,
Do you just give it the benefit of the doubt? Like again, in the example you use with your friend's parents, they're your parents. So do you give it the benefit of the doubt, and then is it a three-strike rule? Whereas if it's somebody that you're starting a romantic relationship with because they're new, do you give them a one strike rule? Where and how the balance between boundaries and establishing a definition of boundaries when you are either maintaining a relationship or initiating one? What do you think?
As you were talking, I was just thinking it is just different for everybody. And I couldn't tell you what it is for you. You have to, the parameters of your situation, right? So if you're in a relationship and you feel that you could go to that person and say to them, well, listen, I feel like yesterday you cut me off when I was talking about the chicken and you know what I mean, and we were gonna have with it, blah, 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 you just steamed over me. Like, is it a relationship where you're trying to create a situation where you can talk about that, or is it a situation where you are just going to be subjugated to whatever they're saying and you're just gonna have to go with it? You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about what you're trying to cultivate. And it's just difficult. Because it does matter. It does depend on who it is, how much respect you have for them, how much respect they have for you.
Now, what if you have a lot of respect for them, but they have no respect for you? Where does that go?
I mean, that's what I was just literally going to say. If they don't have respect for you, I would say you can't. The thing is, what we get caught up in sometimes is we put people in around for too longer than they need to be. And sometimes, I think I've said this to you before, like, sometimes you just got to be like, do you know what? I've maintained my boundary. My boundary is that I'm going to keep myself safe. And if that means that you have to get locked off, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? You should not, no one should make you feel worse than you need to be feeling about a situation. And you've got to know what your limit is. Whatever your limit is like, you've got to know that for yourself. You've got to, understand what your limit is. And sometimes you have to be reminded, I know for me, being disrespected, knowingly being disrespected, because sometimes you can be disrespected and you're like, and you don't even know you're being disrespected. And there's other times where you've been blatant in your face, and sometimes you allow it because you're just thinking, oh, maybe it's just the one time, and then they do it again.
Don't know what they're doing. Or having a bad day.
Having a bad day. Ooh, each Wednesday.
You know
what I mean? And you don't know what that person's what they're trying to do towards you, what their expectations are. It's so that's my trail of thought there. But like, what I'm trying to say is that every situation that you have and you're trying to form boundaries, you have to treat it separate for a different person. If that's what it was, that's right. If they don't respect you, right, then do you really need that person in the first place? If your friend group is a friend group, or you're predicated, you've made your friend group on a set of people who you think in your mind is down on respect. Friend group or anybody that you associate with, do business with, whatever, it is on respect. And there's one or two or three people in that whole friends group or scenario, and they don't respect you. I would say, are they going to have your best interests at heart? Like, if the shit hit the fire, are they the people you're going to lean on to say, do you know what, save my life? Not really, because they don't respect you. Because that's the time when they would gladly turn around and pick their nose and tie their shoelace while you asking them for help, or why you need something, to save your life. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would say that these people, you don't really need them in your life. Then you don't really need to,
that's an interesting dynamic.
Or you can keep them at a distance. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because if you've got a group of 6, for instance, like you say, 4 of them have got your back, but 2, you're not sure if they could potentially be moving a little bit insidious, but they're in the group anyway. What impact could potentially be the perception or the ongoing relationship with the 4 people that are positive, whilst they have these other 2 are relating to you and those other 4 people? Like you said, you don't know what they're saying, you don't know what the intention is. If that energy is in and around your circle, how does that, do you counter? So we're back to your yin and yang point. Do you counteract that negative energy if there is more positive energy, or is there always that balance? Again, is there such a thing as 60-40? Will the 60-40 then push that to 80-20 because there is a outbalance of positive or negative, vice versa? or actually will it be pushed the other way because the glass can be half full and half empty at the same time? It can't be 3/4 full or a third. Yeah, well, which one? Where we at?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because yeah, because I'm picturing it myself, like, you know,
Yeah,
you're in a friends group, you know, like you said, there's 6 of them, you know, maybe 4 of them respect you, 2 of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
And do you still, you know, you still have them around, do you, whatever, or whatever the dynamic is. It's difficult. It's difficult because you would hope that as they're your friends, that they would be able to know what your boundary level is,
What your boundary is, yeah.
and if they're constantly going past that boundary, and you know you set this boundary, this boundary's been the same since you were like 15, and you're now like 35, 40, and they're do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're taking the piss. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're taking
The
the piss.
boundary's not changed.
Yeah,
it's been there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a sit down talk, maybe it's a whatever. But what it does to the other people is it can lead them to either like have less respect for you because you're allowing that person to disrespect you,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore they start seeing you in a way not as worse as that person is seeing you, but a way where actually I don't know if I respect you for letting them to respect you, disrespect you like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that can lead to a whole riff-raff or
Another
whatever.
dynamic.
Another dynamic. Do you know what I mean? How do you then get back with the friends who you really want? Look, I am up holding my thing. I did speak to them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. It can be really. You like to think that because you're all friends, you can all just sit down and talk about these things. But as we know, people are on different levels.
Because again, if people aren't invested in you like that in the beginning to respect what you're saying, they're not necessarily going to want to sit down and have that conversation or be involved in that.
And at times where I've had a conversation like that, it's been that they've been harboring feelings about something that you said ages ago that you don't remember.
But they've had, exactly. And
they've been harboring this thing.
Bring that up. Yeah, bring that up then, because that's what I'm saying. It comes back down to the boundaries, isn't it? At what stage, if I've damaged or impacted your boundary, a boundary, but you've never said anything about it, and then you bring it up, and actually we've infringed upon that boundary, and it was like a year ago, who's in the right and who's in the wrong? Like, is there a cut-off period on upset? I guess, isn't it? Yeah, like, can you?
There should be.
It should be. Like, if I tell you, come back to me and say, 5 years ago, you did something to me. Here's a picture from the event. Remember this night, you did something to me. Do you care? Do you care? Oh, and is that wrong to not care anymore?
I don't think it's wrong to not care. I think it's wrong to not care. I don't think it's wrong to not care. Listen. I've been in many scenarios, man. There's a guy I used to know who used to be so annoying, because he's one of the people, right? If you want to go somewhere, like I was a raver, right? It's a rave every week, and this guy, you say you come to the rave, you say no. Come to the rave, you say no. Why can't you come? I just don't know coming. All right, cool. The 1 week you don't ask him to come, he's going, yeah, but how come you didn't ask me? You don't ask me to come in.
Never asked me to come to a rave. Yeah.
Every week you say no. What am I asking you for? Because you only wanted to be asked because you just wanted to be asked. Do you know what I'm saying? And
never had an intention.
Yeah. And it makes you think to yourself, what kind of friend of, you know what I mean? Do I then lock this guy off? Because this guy is really not.
This is ridiculous. He's moving mad.
And so some friends want to be in your life just to be there, so they can still keep up with the gossip, keep up with whatever, but they're not contributing anything to your life. They're not enriching. They should be people who you can enrich you in some form or way. Should be. 100%. Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we hold on, like we said before, we hold on to people for too long, and the upset, that should be a thing that lets you know who that person is.
Yeah, it's true.
If I've upset you, there should be a time where you should just come up to me. Like if I'm the friend I think I am, that's just me, right? If I'm the friend I think I am, I'm thinking that you could come and talk to me about it. And even if I go, do you know what? Yeah, all right then, whatever.
Yeah.
You told me about it.
Still talk, yeah.
I cannot say to you that you never told me. You know what I mean? I cannot say to you that you didn't put that boundary there. Even if I don't like it, even if I think you're bitch now, I'll still have to take
hold
that.
It. Firm that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then over time, when that dust settles and you're over and your feelings, you go, actually, you know what? I respect that you came to me. If that's my way inclined, if my mind's, if that I'm that way inclined, and my mind's like in the right place. Do you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like I think my mum just said to me, look, you don't harbor people for too long. Like if they've upset you, or they've disrespected you, and they clearly either know that they've done it or they don't know they've done it, but they haven't come to you to speak to you about why have you not spoken in six,
In
7
how
months or
long?
whatever.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And used to meet every week. Then maybe that person knows that they've done it and they don't really want to. You know what I mean? You
Let's
don't
see
see you
too
as
much.
something important.
Yeah. Let's just be real with it. Like I say, like you know when people are like, "Oh, time has slipped too long. It's been a long time." Da 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 da. You ask yourself, "Well, why? Why has it been a long time?" Like people may not like this, but I've got a 6 month cutoff. If I don't talk to you, I haven't heard from you in 6 months, whether that be a message, a text message, a WhatsApp, or phone call. We go out for a munch. I seen you at an event, something. Yeah, you make some kind of effort in some form in 6 months, and then you're dead to me. You're dead to me. Unless you have got a medical issue, yeah, whether physical or mental, psychological, that is infringing on why, yeah, it's not good enough. In 2025, to take how long does it take to send a message?
That
How
seconds.
long does it take to record a voice note? And I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. When somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I just ain't had time," or did it. No, let's get it right. You ain't had time for me.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have time. I am not in your list of priorities or your tight, close knit circle. Yeah, let's get it correct. That's what I don't like. People don't like to when you correct them, and I use different, more owning language. Yeah, because it's the truth. I'm not gonna get too hurt about it. It might be hurtful. It might not be a very kind thing to do, but personally, I'm not gonna be hurt by it. Again, just speak honestly. But my personal boundary is that if you take 6 months and you haven't spoken to me, then it's cool. Because 6 months is quite a lot of time
Mm, mm.
to me. Maybe not in a lifetime. People might say, how can you have somebody that you're friends with for 20 years and if they don't talk to you in 6 months, you're gonna be like, they're dead to you. Well, again, why were we friends for 20 years and then suddenly 6 months just cut out and I ain't talked to that person? Let's come back down. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Go
Listen,
on.
I had a friend right on that same wavelength. What you're saying, yeah. I had a friend who we used to go to school together, and we didn't like. All of a sudden, we went to college, and I just didn't see the man for like 5 years. Didn't see him.
Oh, whoa, 5 years as
Yeah,
well.
you know, he's
Okay.
studying or whatever, and I'm like, or you
Mhm,
see him
mhm.
like, I said, all right, maybe 5 years a bit extra, maybe like 3.5 years. But you saw this guy every day. He was in your
Every
class.
day otherwise. Mhm.
Didn't hear nothing from him. I'm like, what's going on? What happened? What
To this
happened?
guy.
And to this day, I still have a certain disdain for that. Do you know what I mean? But to him, he probably didn't remember. He didn't even remember. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
do you know what
yeah,
I
he's
mean?
gone doing
But
his
I was
thing.
just like, bro, like we was rolling, like we was, doing stuff. But at the same time, I did have a lot of stuff going on in terms of me. Well, he probably didn't know. I think that's probably why I was angry because he didn't know I was going through my personal stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, I wanted him to be around to
Now,
be.
okay. Did he not know because you didn't tell him or because he didn't listen?
You weren't around. So you weren't around. You
Okay,
just
yeah,
weren't
yeah, yeah,
around.
fair.
Like you
Yeah,
should
yeah,
be like he's one of the people that I would have been leaning on going, yo, brother, like
yeah.
I'm going for
Mhm.
this thing, you know what I mean? And but you weren't around. So I just had to just deal with things on my own.
Big up, respect, man. You did
I'm
it.
not,
You did it.
I'm
You're
not
here now. You're here now.
yeah. Still got a couple of things to climb, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
But
mhm, mhm.
yeah, so you feel that upset should be what, how long? You saying it, what you saying? A year? Is what you saying?
Mm. Now you see, upsets. I think I have to agree with you on that one. I think there's an indefinite amount of time on upset because you're allowed to be upset. It depends on the magnitude of something. Like if somebody crashes into my car, I can be upset, but I can let it go. Yeah.
Mm.
If somebody sets fire to my car with family members in it, then that's a different thing. I might not ever let that go. Oh, technical difficulties. You got me. You got me. So yeah, like if somebody goes to prison and they serve their time, but the crime has been against you, and you're not in agreement with the supposed level of sentencing, yeah. Should you then forgive them? Does the upset this is it has it expired because they've served their time? Like again, you might have had something really personal to you stolen. Yeah, that has got a lot of sentimental value. It's a one of a kind thing. You go through the correct process and channels to get the outcome, the sanctions that you want, or that is just. Yeah. And then it turns out that that person gets a sentence, and the sentence is a fine, and the fine is 2 weeks' wages, and they made minimum wage, and you're a high earner. So, and that was a piece of inheritance that you received. The value again was much higher than 2 weeks minimum wage, but the sentimental cost, you have every right, I would think, or argue to say that because just because the person has been served their dues, you have the right to still be in disagreement with the fact that that is still ongoing and that you are still have the right to upset. That's one of the things that people don't want to accept. Yeah. It's absolutely fine for you to behave how you behave, but don't be upset when you dislike how I react because of your behavior. Yeah.
Respect. Say it again for the people at the back.
So, yeah, it's okay. However you choose to behave, that's fine. That's your choice. You control your behavior. Yeah. But don't be upset with how I react to your behavior and your choice of behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, bars.
Yeah. And that's what people don't like. When people don't like the fact that they are remembered for their choice of actions. You chose to behave that way in that time. I choose to remember it now, today. You might have forgotten because, again, like I say, you can control yourself. And if you choose to forget what you've done, then that's fine. But I don't choose to forget that. And if you can't talk about that, then cool. And if then for some reason that's what causes a gap for 6 months, then like you say, the narrative is clear. And I come back to your point that maybe that person didn't have your vested interest in the first place.
Mm. I just want to say, yeah, my mum really likes your podcast that you did.
Nice one. Love and big up Mumsy.
Yeah, she was like, Kadeem, man.
Mhm,
I was like,
mhm.
oh, okay, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I told you I could chop it up. We can chop it up. I like to get
Yeah,
honest
man.
with it. A lot of people don't want to do this. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't want to do this. They won't want to
Mm.
sit there. Some people probably won't even get through the podcast. Some of the questions are
Yeah.
too hard. That's why I
Yeah.
wrote the questions. That's why I wrote the
Mm.
questions like this. I didn't.
Mm.
I'm not afraid. Subjects
Mm.
like controversy and boundaries are things that people don't want to talk about generally. So why not
Yeah.
chop it up?
Mm.
Okay, like I said, there was three things, and I was going to keep it quick today because I want
Mm-hmm.
us to know that we can keep it quick,
Yes.
snappy, and succinct. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you. I had a quick little game that I wanted to ask. I think there's something I close out, a little close out. Yeah, questions. This is a little segment. Yeah, and I'm gonna call this one questions we don't want to answer. Questions that people don't want to answer. Episode 1. Yeah. Yeah,
I like
questions
it.
that people don't want to answer. I'm going to hit you with one. This is going to be a unanimous thing. We're going to know that you can ask this question of anybody and they're going to stutter on answering this in an open or recorded format. Yeah, so let's get gritty with it. Let's just get gritty with it. Let's be gritty with it so that we can resolve ourselves of the challenges that come with it. Yeah. So today, the question that people don't want to answer, I'm going to ask you, what is your biggest regret?
Biggest regret.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is hard.
Yeah. No, go to the one that you know you can knock. Get rid of the easy ones. Start knocking away the easy ones. We're gonna get to okay. Biggest regret. Hmm.
Biggest regret. Ooh, can I come back to that one?
Hmm.
Can I come back to that one?
Yeah. You can come
I'll
back to
answer
that
it, but
one.
I need to come back to that because that's
Yeah.
a
That's
deep
a
question.
deep
That's a
question.
deep question. It might be another podcast, that one. Um,
Yeah, well, that could be another podcast. That could be another
mm,
podcast. We could do a whole, but like I said, questions that people don't want to answer. That could be, it could be a whole podcast in itself. Biggest regrets.
My biggest regrets.
And I think there's a certain level of therapy that comes with just hitting us with a. If I give you 60 seconds and then you have to drop me an answer, then we come back to that on another podcast and you still see if you agree.
Jeez, man.
Because what's your biggest regret today versus if you've had more time to think about it? That's an interesting one. What's your knee-jerk response versus if you've had time to think about it? So let's do that today. Yeah? Let's do that today. What right now, if we put you under pressure and someone holds a gun to your head and says, what's your biggest regret you're going to come out with? Whereas if somebody is with you and you've had time to think about it.
It's hard because it's hard for me because
it's hard for everybody.
Because I try not to live with regrets. Like, I try to live. I know it sounds like a cop out, but I don't like. It's hard because there's things that I would have maybe changed, but I wouldn't say regret because it's brought me to this point right now.
Yeah,
and as much as like we could be in better situations, I know I could be in worse situations. Do you know what I mean? And if the road we're trying to travel is supposed to be an authentic one, without all the smoke and mirrors, and the Matrix thing, you know what I mean? Then I would say that I don't really have regrets like that. Like would I have maybe when I was younger, I was homeless for a time. I didn't get to go to uni. I don't know if that's a regret because I don't know if I would have went uni, would I have the path that I've had now?
Good time. Yeah,
because I've done so many things that I haven't. Some people who have got their degree have never even done. You know, I've got a friend of mine, God, God bless him and that. But he, I laugh, but I'm not laughing as in laughing at him. I'm just laughing because it's just like when I'm thinking about how lucky I am. He basically trained as a teacher, and then because the school had mismanaged his whole teaching qualification thing, he never actually got to become an actual teacher.
Qualified teacher.
Yeah, so he didn't get his status. He did all the work for it and did all the stuff. Whereas I've
heard of things like that before.
Whereas I hadn't done that, but yeah, I got to teach GCSE drama. Do you know what I mean? And he said drama, like, do you know what I mean? And that's more about other people seeing my light for me,
potential.
My potential and whatever. And as much as it was hard doing some of the stuff, like I found a way to get it done. And I feel like, that's what I'm saying. I don't have regrets. I have just more things that maybe I would have got to certain places quicker because it would have maybe lead me to certain circles, automatically. But then at the same time, I wouldn't have been able to have a publishing deal with Universal Music because I would have had to been studying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, the regrets are the regrets I would have was probably just not managing my boundaries and not respecting other people's boundaries at points in my life. It's not been a recurring thing like every single time, but there are times where you don't say, "Oh, I've done pushed it too far," or you say too much of something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you've had an argument with somebody, and you've said one line, the one-liner that you can't take back. No, you said it. No, they heard it. You can't go. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. What I meant was, and it's already done.
It's over.
So those maybe the things I regret, but generally I don't live with regrets. I know that I feel like there's things I'll go, oops, maybe I could have done that better. But every moment is a teaching moment, so I don't have regrets like that. You know what I mean? So I know it's a cop out, but that's why I was saying it was quite hard. No, I don't really. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I like that. So what I'm going to do to that one is that for the future, then we're going to come back to that exact question. I'm going to change the word regret to change. What would you change? And what's the big? Because you see, the small way that you change the language might change the way that you perceive the pathway that you would want to take. So we're going to come back to this one because if I was to ask you then if there's anything that you would change. Or
everything.
What will be a recent
my face, my nose, my skin, where I live, everything.
Yeah, everything. So do you see? So that's it's. But that's one thing. I want you to think on that one. And we're going to come back to that one in the future. In the future.
Yeah. I mean, you're right though, because it does depend on where you land within the sphere of change and regret. Yeah, they
Mhm.
want in the same thing. If you have things that you want to change, is there things that you actually regret having, or but it could just be what you regret isn't the same thing as what you would change.
You
So,
see? Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, do you understand these things unless you've had your boundaries tested and or broken? And I think that's one of the interesting points for today.
mm, this
Is
is
that,
life, though, isn't it? This is life.
isn't it? Yeah. The
You know,
strongest boundaries that you might instill in yourself are the ones that have, when you've been tried and tested multiple times.
and it's a
So
time. It's also going to be times where you've tried to instill this damn boundary, and it won't. You know, you keep letting people pass. You keep, or they
I
keep
think,
breaking it, and you just keep. I will not wear. Oh no, it's gone again. Okay, stop. I'm gonna. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And invariably, it always breaks with people who you really care about.
Yeah,
You know, there's the people that you care about, and you move it slightly, or go, oh, you allow them for this because you really care
yeah,
for them, and you know, or they're, I don't know, the integral part of your family might be your grand, it might be your
yeah.
partner, you know what I mean, your gerbil, you know, but it's usually somebody or something you care
Got a
about
connection with, yeah,
is
yeah.
what always kind of breaks that boundary sometimes, and that's what gets people into their spiral of, I don't know if I can trust people, I don't know if I can be around certain people,
Mhm.
you know, and close themselves off. Which I
I think
think
that's a, let me jump in there because I think that's a perfect time for anybody listening to start to ask themselves that same question. Yeah. The boundaries. Are there people in and around your space, whether they be friends, family, colleagues, loved ones, but because they are of that status, you are actually allowing yourself to be disrespected?
mm,
Ask yourself that question, not because we want to put ourselves in difficult places, but just to recognize and check yourself. Because again, a lot of the time we will go through life without asking ourselves difficult questions, and those are the questions that may actually benefit us the most. So I get repeat
I can
again.
definitely relate. I can definitely relate to that question.
Ask yourself, listeners, today, your loved ones, friends, colleagues, work colleagues, peers, teammates, sports colleagues, wherever, whoever, are people that you have care for. Because of that reason, do you allow them to disrespect your boundaries more so than if a random stranger was? Because I think, and ask yourself, put a tally together. See if you can put a top three people together that you recognize actually might
And put
be,
it in the comments, people. Put it in the
and put
comments as
that in the
well. Like,
comments.
you know,
Put that in the comments.
it
Yeah.
can be, you don't have to put in their real names, but you can be like Thomas, Trevor, and
But
whatever.
just to give us put the job role, put the age, give us a
Mm,
defining factor so that you can own it. Because there's a certain level of growth that comes with speaking something or writing something aloud. And I think it's always important to check yourself, and
mm.
because who's doing it? Who's doing it for you? That's what it's tested.
And are there boundaries that you maybe, what's your hardest boundary for you to maintain? Ask
Exactly.
yourself that. What's your hardest boundary that's hard for you to maintain? And are you successful in maintaining it? Or is it a
Exactly.
thing where it kind of changes and ebbs and flows? Or, you know, do you have many different types of boundaries as well? You know what I mean? I have a boundary around food, fam. If I'm eating chicken, if we go Morley's and I say to you, bro, you want some food? And you say to me, nah, I'm all right, I'm fine. And I'm sitting down chomping my food and you
Something
come and
else.
ask me, nah,
No,
it's a
that's
boundary.
mad.
You
No,
can't get that. You
yeah.
can't get that. You can't get that. Sorry, you can't get that. Can't get that.
Mhm,
People
mhm.
can call me greedy, can call me less of a friend. I don't care. Like, I've already asked you what your
No.
food. Why are you coming to me and saying me whatever? It's just me.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Mhm.
Hey, I
No, I
mean,
agree. I agree. I agree with that. That's true.
good,
Get
good.
your own view.
Bro
For
code,
me,
bro
with
code.
yeah, bro code, 100%, 100%.
Um, uh, so can I put one final thing today?
Yeah, cool. Hit me up. Hit us up.
You
We
said
listen.
it earlier, but you didn't. Yeah, you didn't even bring it up anyway. But anyway, Bob Villain, fam.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, villain.
What say you
Well,
about the furore over this man? He was talking truth and things.
and drink. I went to I went to the LBC response. In truth, that's there weren't very many media outlets that were looking at both sides of the argument, but LBC quite often do quite well at looking at quite a lot of the angles. And was it what he was saying that was controversial, or the fact that there was facts to it? That was where the upset was, because in the same breath and space, cafes, schools, and hospitals have been bombed by the very same people that, if his message hadn't been listened to, like they say, there would not have been this genocide. Like they're not like if you go back to and look at the actual statement that Bob Villan has put out post on X or Instagram or both, talking about this being a machine of distraction. That is the proof. He is a punk rock pop artist. Yeah, he's an artist nonetheless, regardless of his genre, he's an artist. Throughout history, we have seen artists challenge media and politics in all genres, from rock to rap, yeah, pop. We've seen it all, country, classical. We've seen it all. We've seen all sorts of challenges to the political structure and regime. Yeah. So why now, in a state of democracy where free speech is supposedly supposed to be there uncensored, and why, when we're a focus point, especially when he's allowed to elaborate on that point, and he talks about the fact that he's not talking about genocide of a people, he's talking about a group and a regime and a process that thinks it is acceptable to by force kill innocent and uninvolved women, children, and men. That I don't understand why we are still able to double that. We are, it's 2025. People are allowed to comment, and then we can talk to them and follow up, and then we can listen to their follow-up response. And if they have doubled down on the thing that was offensive, then cool, we have every right to berate them. But if they then provide further understanding, lateral explanation, clear language of communication to what supports their opinion, then what is there to be said? And I think when we look at what he said the days afterwards, and if we ask ourselves in other medias, like if again,
Bro.
they said the probability, how many people from Glastonbury were then going to go and commit the atrocity?
I mean,
It's very
obviously,
different.
obviously,
Yeah.
everybody was gonna do that,
Hmm.
bro. Let me. I'm gonna share my screen, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
And I want to show you this thing, right? Okay, let me know if you can see it.
Yeah.
All right, can you see it?
Yeah.
Right, this is the definition. It's the government's definition of anti-Semitism. Okay, and we're gonna read it together. All right.
All right. Cool.
So there's a big spiel before up here. It talks about some of the stuff that's happened since 2015, been reported and recorded 924 incidents of anti-Semitism or stuff like that. All right. Anyway, anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical, physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. In addition, such manifestations could also target the state of Israel, as conceived as a Jewish collectivity. Anti-Semitism frequently charges Jews with conspiring to harm humanity, and it is often used to blame Jews for why things go wrong. It is expressed in speech, writing, visual forms, and action, and employs sinister stereotypes and negative character traits. What say you of that first part?
Boy, boy, it is it speaks to our definition of colorism.
In it, in it.
I'm sorry to for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, ain't seen that podcast or that discussion.
Yeah, it hasn't come up
Yeah,
yet, so it's coming. It's coming.
it's coming. These definitions, these official definitions.
Wait, there's
Yeah.
more. There's more. There's more. There's
And
more.
then,
There's more.
okay,
There's more.
okay,
There's more.
okay,
There's more. All right.
okay. Let's go.
Contemporary
Let's.
examples of anti-Semitism
Mhm.
in public life, the media, schools, the workplace, and religious sphere could take into account the overall context, including but not limited to. Now we're really getting to the minutiae now.
Okay.
Calling for aiding or justifying the killing or harming of Jews in the name of radical ideology or an extremist view of religion. Remember to keep that one in mind, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Making mendacious, I love that word, mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such or power of Jews as collective, such as especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. Hold that in your hat. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group, or even for acts committed by non-Jews. Put that in your head. Denying the fact, scope, mechanisms, e.g., gas chambers, or internet or intentionality of the genocide of Jewish people at the hands of National Socialist Germany and its supporters and accomplices during World War II, the Holocaust, accusing the Jews as a people or Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. Accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than the interests of their own nations.
That one is just speaks to a term. I only heard of a Holocaust denying. The term Holocaust denying, and people who deny the idea or the belief that the Holocaust existed or in the way that we understand it. Carry on. Is there more?
There's more. Examples of the ways in which anti-Semitism manifests itself with regard to the state of Israel, taking into account the overall context, could include denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, e.g., by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor, applying double standards by requiring of it a behavior not expected or demanded of any other democratic nation, using the symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism, e.g., claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel to characterize Israel or Israelis, drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis, and holding Jews collectively responsible for actions of the state of Israel. So you cannot say nothing.
This is gonna
right.
This
but
is
it doesn't
the
even make
long,
sense. That means
this doesn't.
But it doesn't even make sense. So you cannot criticize them.
You can't say
basically.
you can't. But what actually? All right. So, but
wait. Last bit.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
However, criticism of Israel, similar to that leveled against any other country, cannot be regarded as anti-Semitic. You see that? They said all that. They said, however, criticism of Israel, similar to that leveled against any other country, cannot be regarded as anti-Semitic. So it has to be on the same level as something else. So if you say that they are bombing women and children, that's wrong. You got to say that another country is bombing women and children, that's wrong. You got to have it on the same level.
Yeah, because I guess this is where it gets really difficult. This is where it's really difficult because it's true. This is with every atrocity in the world. Yeah, we're really looking at this issue, but it's not like this is the only place where this is going on. The whole world is in. There are different facets of the world that is committing acts of genocide, humiliation, torture, segregation, removal of basic human rights. So, like,
Kadeem, there's more. Anti-Semitic acts are criminal when they are so defined by law. For example, denial of the Holocaust or distribution of anti-Semitic materials in some countries. Criminal acts are anti-Semitic when the targets of attacks, whether they are people or property, such as buildings, schools, places of worship, and cemeteries, are selected because they are or perceived to be Jewish or linked to Jews. Anti-Semitic discrimination is the denial to Jews of opportunities or services available to others and is illegal in many countries. Now I'm finished.
You're done, yeah? Because so am I. After all of that, I'm not making no comments. That's that. Look. You know me, yeah. I'm never gonna change. It's on. I'm not gonna sit on the fence. You're gonna get me on either the left or the right. Yeah. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say about the first 2 points, but I'm not gonna comment about the rest of the next 35 points that seem to have passed. Yeah. Bob Villain definitely was in breach of point one and two. Well, point one specifically. But arguably, point two, in by labeling Bob Dylan a perpetrator of act one or point one, it contradicts that of point two. Do you see? Because there, the, and I'm not even gonna get too deep into it because again, that will. I'm just gonna I'm gonna let people think about that point. But then my next big comment here, like I said, back to the colorism. These official definitions, who are they for? Because it sounds like they are to protect more so than they are to actually enforce something. Yeah. This is too much information for people where the average IQ is 90. Yeah. This is too much for people. This is too much. We need to thin this down a little bit because unfortunately, and this is why we probably see so much anti-Semitism, people are not educated enough. And it's sad to say that we're in 2025, but I come back to the point of that's why we shouldn't be worried about going to Mars and fix what's going on next door. Because the fact that we will probably all mutually agree that we all know somebody with too low of an intelligence or reading skill to take the time to listen to and interpret the definition of anti-Semitism in this country. Well, that's a part of the problem in itself. Because if somebody doesn't have the attrition to invest 5 minutes to read something that impacts such a large populace of people, then I think they're the people that are the same people that are likely to be subjected to being, I don't know, brainwashed into believing that the Holocaust did not exist, happen, nor take place. So, yeah, before I upset unknowingly anybody without intention, I'll just say the definitions that we're looking at that are set up nationally, maybe they need to be, because again, ask yourself, somebody neurodiverse,
Ain't gonna know
does
what the
someone
hell
new,
is going on.
do they understand
Like if somebody who's not literate, they've written it in such a way.
that you're
Like,
going to just be found guilty? You're just going to be found guilty. You
mm,
didn't know.
you
There's
expressing
no
your
trying
opinion,
to help
expressing your
them.
opinion about something, and you automatically you've done it. You've
And
already
you've done
done
10
it. So
lines of the 30 lines. Yeah.
you can't even have an opinion on it. What's going on? So you can't even have an opinion on them. You can't talk about them. You can't accuse them either whether it's your opinion and or they are doing things that you feel is wrong. You can't say anything about them. It's just mad.
How
It's
can you
mad.
learn? How can you learn?
How can you
That's what I
become
mean. It's so
better?
different. How can anybody learn? How That's why we've seen the same conflict for so many years, generations. Because how have we learned? What have we learned from this? What are we learning? The perhaps policies that are in place at the moment, the way that they are presented, are not proficient to people's education of the issue.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I think that's the challenge. If it needs to be understandable, it needs to be bite-sized. Some people would understand what I've just said. So really we need to say we need to make these things understandable to everybody, whether or not you come from up, down, left, or right. You shouldn't need to have had read 30 books this year in order to be able to understand the definition.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Let's just read. Let's just for fun. Let's recap points 1 and 2.
Yeah, go on, yeah. Go on, recap points 1 and 2.
Calling for or aiding or justifying the killing or harming of Jews in the name of radical ideology or an extremist view of religion. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such or the power of Jews as collectives such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or a Jews or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or of societal institutions.
Yeah. But if you can see what I'm saying, then there it is. If you can't, then just read a couple more times to the listeners out there. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it any more than this.
That's
Uh,
fine.
I let people say, I let you, but maybe you can see the content. Like I said, I'll repeat it again. I stand by the fact that yeah, Bob Villain probably yeah he's a perpetrator of point one, but look at point two, because the whole point of what's going on would argue that there is some contradictions there.
But he didn't mean the people should
The people, no,
die.
he was talking about the
He was
regime.
in the regime that should
Like I
come to
said,
an end. That
listen,
should come to an end.
look to. That's why I say it's very important that we give space to listen to people's follow up when they are giving a follow up.
But the problem is that they can't talk about it because
Yeah,
certain institutions are complicit in what's going on. So if you
yeah,
acknowledge that actually what they're saying is actually a conversational point, you're also then acknowledging that actually you are part of that same thing that they're
part of the
talking
issue.
about,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you're
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
actually act like they're actually not part of it,
Not
and that
part
it's
of it.
all a myth, and that what we're seeing is actually
Mhm.
not really happening. It's all just our imaginations, and that people are just, making lies against a certain set of people, even though it's written down from the 1800s that certain people were afforded certain land, and they people took a piece of liberties and tried to encourage more people, and they killed them off and tried not to put them back on the land. I mean,
Yeah, but we're not gonna get into that.
we're not going to go there. We're not going to go into that
We're not gonna
because
go there.
that's
That's
just
that's too much. No, that's that. We can't get today's current definition down. Let's not go into the 1800s. Let's not go
and
back into the,
and you can't talk about it biblically, because then you're going to encroaching in some of the the stuff that they said in the thing that you can't say.
yeah, you can't
Can't
say,
talk about it,
Mhm.
because
But
depending
as
on
I
where you
say,
stand.
point two, point two talks about dehumanizing, and but I think when we look at what Bob Villain was referencing is the dehumanization of a certain populace. So that's where I think we need to really look at the potential contradictions. Because and help, and I think there needs to be some education. There needs to be people. There's not enough education to help people not make these mistakes. Because again, maybe I'm wrong in even seeing that there's contradictions there, but I don't understand how, in one sense, you're saying that we must value and not be extremist, but then also dehumanizing is not a certain populace because of their makeup is not acceptable. So how can we how do we how do we which side is it, like? And back to the point that you made as well, that we slipped over quite well, by giving all of this airtime to this, by this being over every radio station, TV, everywhere for what 48 hours, was that not promoting the wrong agenda anyway? Like they say, bad publicity is good. I actually, when I first, because I didn't watch Glastonbury this year, nor do I any year, but when I heard the thing, I thought they said Bob Dylan, and I'm like, Bob Dylan. Oh no, this is gonna get controversial. And then I was like, I saw the pictures and I saw a Rasta brother with locks and jumping up crowd surfing. I'm like, oh, this is not Bob Dylan. Oh, Bob
Crazy?
Dylan.
You know what's crazy is there were so many people in the crowd with Free
Flags.
Palestine flags.
With the flags.
There's some people in there with the flags already. Like, so it's not like he's just the one talking about it and everyone else is going, get him off, boo.
It was like, look at what is happening. He's responding to what is going on in the media that is on every channel, every day, all the time. So again, this is what I'm saying. The definition: you can't talk about what's being pushed in your face all the time, but then is that a trap? Because it's being pushed in your face all the time. If we don't want offense to be caused, don't push it in the face all the time. Or if it's being pushed in your face all the time, educate.
I mean, but it's not about education, is it?
It's about control.
It's about control and agenda.
Control, yeah. Control.
And you must follow this. This is the line, and you must follow it. It's about boundaries.
Hey, that's it.
We will carry on with the controversial behavior to maintain our boundary.
Boundaries, yeah. Boundary of control.
Full circle, fam.
Full circle, fam. Yeah, we done it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And you're good.
We're good. Yeah.
Proud of myself.
Yeah. Man.
Guys, this is the GM the Life Coach podcast. It has been a wicked one. I'm trying to finish on time today because I know what we're like. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Big up Kadeem today. You got to do this more often, Kadeem. You got to do this more often because clearly
again,
you like it. Clearly you like it. But yeah, cool. We'll definitely to and fro anyway. So yeah, listen, say goodbye.
Love. Blessings. No stress, no worries, no fears to all the listeners, okay? Just don't worry about anything. There's no reason to let that get in the way of you achieving your best selves. So, yeah, stand strong and stand tall in your best confidence and self. Thank you for taking the time to listen today, guys. It's been good for me. So, I hope it's good for you in tune as well.
Jeez. Can't say the better any better. Listen, guys, take care. Remember, share, like, subscribe, and comment. We're up to 109 subscribers now, I think it is, maybe 110 by the time we finish this. So we're slowly. I've had a couple of weeks off, had some family stuff to sort out, but we're back in it now anyway. So listen, thanks so much, Kadeem, again. And I'm Jim the Life Coach, and I'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.
GM the Life Coach.